Welcome to Center of Light. It is Thursday night. Do a little dance, make a little love. Get down tonight. We're going to get down tonight with Haylee Lynn, and we're going to be speaking about the art of lucid dreaming. Another one of my favorite subjects. Welcome to Center of Light, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Strap in all my brother and sister astral knots as we launch for inner space. That's the gig. That's the gate. That's what you want. Everything you have been looking for, look, is right here. It's right there. All of it. And what is it you think is in there? No thing. And in that no thing is everything. And that's something. Center of Light Radio, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. I love what I do. Do you love what you do? I love who I am. Do you love who you are? Do you have a vision of what you not only are, but what you will become? Can you see? Can you see a greater potential for your life than you have in the past? And if you're working on that and expanding into that, that's amazing. Beyond amazing. It's why you were born. If you can't, you can contact myself. You can contact my guest tonight. We're here. Many of us are here. Many of you are here. We're all in this together. It's a shake hands deal. Center of Light Radio. Please share this everywhere. There's a YouTube link. I can use some more subscribers in this forum. Check on that link in that forum. There's a lot. Those links in the forum are not just sitting there. They have a purpose, a very important purpose, at least in my experience, for me to continue to do what I do because I love it so well. As to why, I hand this empowerment, this baton, this light saber, this torch of light to you. And you just do the same like it was done to me. Just pass it along, pass it along, pass it along. I'm still not sure when I am going to do my Power Connection Purpose course. We're going to do some PCP, y'all. Power Connection Purpose course. 6-week bust you wide open course. Online, live video form like you see now, but no one has access but you. 4 models for alignment. And in these 4 models, you're going to have immediate results. Sounds like bells and whistles. I like bells and whistles. Everybody likes bells and whistles. Doesn't mean it takes away from the authenticity and the power inherent in what I'm going to be bringing forth. You want to experience it. So I want you to touch it. I want it to become tangible, palpable. I want you to taste it. I want you to smell it. I want you to feel it. It's very, very cheap. If you're interested in this program, contact me in this forum. Keith, I'm in. I want to know more about the course. But what it really requires is all of you, because I don't play around. If you're not going to jump into the moving river, I'm going to grab you and throw you in the river myself. I'm warning you. If you want to grow, if you hesitate, I'm going to nudge you because I love you. Tonight, my guest is Miss Haylee Lynn. You know what? I usually play some Lavender Soul, but I'm not. Let me tell you about my guest tonight on Center of Light. Let me get up her bio. Tonight on Center of Light Radio, Haylee Lynn is a lucid dreaming and out-of-body exploration practitioner and coach. Oh my God, we're going to have so much fun. She has been using these altered states for life transformation and healing for over 6 years. Her passion is to guide others to a higher state of consciousness while creating a life that is free of suffering and full of bliss and liberation. I'm grabbing these links yet again and posting them in the forum for my guest tonight, Haylee Lynn. Welcome to Center of Light Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
I came across you miraculously, synchronistically, somehow, and I found myself watching your lessons, your information, your wisdom, your jewels, your gifts that you're giving, helping people with. I love this subject. I love divinity. I love consciousness, all that stuff, but I definitely love lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted you to get on this path of exploring more of the natural state of who you are?
Well, it actually started happening when I was really young. I always had really intense dreams. Most of them were nightmares. I did kind of have some trauma in my childhood, so that could have had to do with why I was experiencing so many nightmares. Through high school, I started to develop a lot of stress and anxiety and depression, and that led to physical stomach issues that the doctor said was incurable and was actually going to develop into stomach cancer eventually. So this was ulcers, gastritis, esophagitis, everything that could be wrong with my stomach was, and I was in agonizing pain every single day, had to go to the ER probably a couple times a week, honestly. It was really, really bad. And I spent so long trying to find someone to help me because I didn't feel like it was in my path to suffer my entire life. And it wasn't just from the physical pain, it was also the anxiety. I had really bad insomnia and depression. And I started to randomly lucid dream when I started to ask, how can I heal myself? There has to be something out there that I am not aware of. And then all of a sudden, it was like the universe just started giving me these little pieces of these little dreams, trying to tell me that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And so I looked into a little bit, and I did read some of Charlie Morley's stories, how he was able to heal his eyesight through the lucid dream, and you were actually able to heal PTSD through the lucid dream. And I thought, well, if he can experience that healing, then maybe I can experience this healing. So it took me a few days, maybe like a week, to get lucid, and my intention was to heal my stomach. And I remember getting lucid, and it was the most beautiful scene I could ever imagine. It was more vivid than any real life experience I ever had. I could engage with all of my senses. I could feel the wind on my skin. I could hear it in my ears. I could feel the sunlight on my face. Totally immersive experience. I remember someone in my dream just parked their truck across the street and came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm here to help you heal your stomach like you asked for." Of course, even if this sounded too good to be true, I was like, okay, let's go. And he led me down to this random swimming pool in the dream and told me, if you get in this pool of healing water, he called it, then you will wake up and you will be healed. It was very hard to believe that this could actually work, but I got into the water, and because my brain didn't think I was lucid dreaming, it thought I was awake and it was experiencing healing, it rewired my brain to get rid of a lot of the physical pain I was experiencing. That's how the placebo effect works in the dream state. As soon as I woke up, that was the first day in 8 years that I didn't have agonizing pain that prevented me from doing anything within my day. And I was like, okay, well, I'm on these 8 medications. Maybe I should just stop taking these 8 medications and see how long it lasted. It's been over 6 years, and I still haven't taken the medications. And since then, I've been able to rewire my insomnia, my depression, anxiety, and do that for others as well. So it's a very powerful state that has seriously changed my life and helps me change other people's lives as well.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
Wow. I have no doubt when you had that experience, you were filled with utter bliss beyond that you have known in waking states of consciousness. For me, Haley, when I had one of those experiences, those, my gosh, soul experiences of viewing what reality really is, or more so is, until we reach the apex. I've been an India fan. I went to India to see this avatar who came to me in a dream and said, "Keith, come see me." And I said, "How will I do that?" He said, "Don't worry about all this. I got it." 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a person I never met. Happens to be a flight attendant. Give me a round trip ticket to go see Sai Baba. So all this played out. But
Wow.
because of my fascination when I got back with India and longing to be back, I was on a train, an open box train, and it was 30, 40 people spread out on the length of this train. And it was midnight and a canopy of stars and a huge moon, and it was a warm wind blowing. And it was very Jodie Foster Contact movie like. Things were watery and liquidy and just, oh my God, it was so cosmic and galactic. And the feeling I had was so full of bliss. Is this what it's like to be in that space for you?
Definitely, because all of it's beyond our physical senses. We're experiencing this with our mind, with our pure consciousness. And so you feel total euphoria, total love, total bliss. It's something that's hard to feel in our everyday life. But the more we practice this, the more we practice expanding consciousness, we can take what we experience in these deep states and experience it throughout our entire life. So yeah, definitely powerful.
There's I want you and I just to play lucid dream ping pong. That's cool with me. But there's a couple of grounds I think you were going to probably, knowing you, would like to cover anyway. But make sure as an insurance policy that I bring up, and at some point we can just meander into them. One would be the subject of lucid dreams, night terrors, hypnagogic, sleep paralysis, all these different out of body experience. But I think as important so people can understand and become practitioners like you and I in the art of lucid dreaming is they have to understand what sleep paralysis and night terrors are, because until they do, they will not allow themselves to open that door up. In fact, if
Absolutely.
they get any inkling that door's open, they're going to shut it and run.
Yep.
So what are night terrors from your experience, other than someone having a bad experience and just freaking out? What are the laws of physics, metaphysics, or the mind psychologically? What's happening in this experience that you may like to share?
So there's a difference between like scary experiences within sleep paralysis, which might be like waking nightmares or waking night terrors, and then there's the night terrors or nightmares that we experience when we're completely unconscious and we're asleep. From my experience, that's mostly due to there being some sort of subconscious trauma or stress or something that we haven't been able to resolve. Nightmares that I've found have come up in the form of our shadow, so everything that we deny, suppress, or disown. If you are able to get lucid in a nightmare and ask it what it represents, just bringing awareness to the issue is enough to, a lot of the times, resolve it in one dream, and you won't have that dream really anymore. Like after I started becoming conscious in my nightmares and trying to figure out what it represents, I'm working through my own subconscious stress or things that I don't have access to in the waking state. We only use 5% of our brain when we're awake because that's all that our conscious mind is. But when we go into the dream state, we have access to the 95% of our subconscious that we don't have access to when we're awake. So if we can learn to face these nightmares and actually just get lucid in them, they won't happen anymore because usually it's subconscious stress. But with sleep paralysis, it's a different story. Now, everyone is kind of scared to dive into what's in their mind because they might have experienced something that has prevented them from wanting to look into it further. Sleep paralysis is definitely misunderstood, and you may hear some people call it the sleep paralysis demon only because it's misunderstood and because our emotions create our experience. So it's good to understand what sleep paralysis actually is. That way you know it's something that's scientifically verified that our body needs to go through every single night. So sleep paralysis happens in REM sleep, or rapid eye movement stage of sleep. This is our dreaming sleep as well. The reason why our body gets paralyzed is because it's a protection mechanism to help our body not physically act out our dreams, punch a wall, do something like that. So we actually need
Fall down the
paralysis.
stairs.
Exactly. And there might be someone who, experiences sleepwalking, so they might have a lower amount of those chemicals that they need to paralyze the body. Now, I hear a lot of people say, well, there was someone sitting on my chest. I felt someone pushing on my chest. Who is that? Well, the thing with that is we don't need to take in as much air when we sleep, so our diaphragm naturally slightly collapses. But if we don't know what's happening, we start to create fear, right? And that's what creates our experience. We're in a thought-responsive state. So as soon as we say, oh, there must be someone holding down my chest. Oh, I hear someone coming in the room. There must be someone in there. Your mind is going to feed off of what you're telling it. So it's all a thought responsive state. If you can find a way to get excited within these state, you'll notice that it creates an exciting experience. The only reason we hear things that we don't understand is because we're half dreaming, half awake. So we pick up on non-physical noises and sensations, but they feel real because our conscious mind is also awake. So once you know that sleep paralysis actually needs to happen and it's a golden gateway to an out-of-body experience or a lucid dream, you'll get really, really excited when you experience it, and try not to mess it up. I really try not to mess it up at all now because I know the potential behind sleep paralysis. But the easiest way to deal with nightmares or any of that is just trying to understand it. Your subconscious is basically writing you letters in a visual form, in images, and it's our job to decipher them, to kind of understand what the subconscious is going through. In the dream, we process information. So we're processing all of our stress, all of our emotions, all of our trauma, all the information that we're experiencing. And once we can learn to bring awareness into that, we can start to interact with it and ask, what does it represent? How can I let go of this stress? Why does this nightmare keep popping up for me? And we'll actually be able to talk to the dream face to face, and it's the easiest way to resolve issues. It's kind of like your own little dream therapy space, is how I like to see it.
But Haylee, you don't understand, sweetheart. There was a demon sitting on my chest. And you can work with people, and they like chewing on the old world model that there's, and you can say, this is really not what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
When you are, for example, whoever you are, and you find yourself in the hypnagogic sleep paralysis state, and here's what you think is you, the body. What's happening? You either about you're disassociating or coming back to association. You're either going to leave or you're coming back in. But the fact that you're not in or out, you can't wake up because you're not going to fall down the stairs and break your neck. Your soul's not going to let you. Your consciousness is not going to let you do that. So that being said, it feels like you can't move. That's why when you try, you can't, and then the mind goes into its monkey madness. I had an amazing experience in 1996. I'm at a friend of mine's house taking a nap, and I'm laying in the bed, facing the wall, and the door's over here, and I'm in a sleep paralysis state. And I thought to myself, I wonder if something's going to show up the door and start messing with my head.
There you go.
It shows up and it meanders, beelines right to me and starts scruffing on my head. I'm freaking out. And I said, I wonder if it's going to grab my butt. And it started doing it to my butt. So after a few of this, I grabbed my astral arms, still facing the wall, grabbed them off of me and threw it against the wall. I knew it slid down the wall and it was out, unconscious or dead. And I'm feeling around the room and I put my hand on teeth like a shark. And so I learned, those years ago, this was all self-induced, self-created.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So when these little critters show up, so the question becomes, was this a figment of your imagination? Absolutely it was. So that means the critter was not real? Absolutely it does not mean that. It means there are energies and entities that are ready to show up and say, did you just call me? Because I'm coming over to visit you. There will be a mirror effect of a living force, a living creature, a living idea that will show up, as you said, when we're in this hyperfertile field in sleep paralysis, which we can jet to another cosmic star system, or we can sit there in the bed and sweat because the old hag's on top of us, shaking the crap out of us, freaking us out.
Yep, exactly. Once we can learn to kind of use that state, we won't really experience anything that really terrifies us. But the thing with what we're experiencing is it's not just all made up. I mean, there's definitely a lot of dream content in that state, but you're like half in your astral body a lot of the time. I notice when I'm in sleep paralysis and I decide to relax and I can hear non-physical noises and sensations, I can feel my body slipping out, which means my consciousness is tuning into that frequency. So but our emotions and our intent create what that energy looks like. So just because it looks like something negative doesn't mean it is. It's because your fear that you're expecting that to be, kind of created into a negative way. So it's really is all about the mind state that we have going into it. And once you know that your thoughts can completely control your experience, you can start using that for your benefit instead of, self-sabotaging yourself because we kind of get freaked out and ruin the experience. So once you start practicing more, though, you'll really see how amazing it is. I mean, I even hang out with my dog who's passed away in the out-of-body state. I use the out-of-body state to explore something more than myself, and I use lucid dreaming to explore my own mind and become a friend with my subconscious. So they're kind of two different states, but very intertwined as well.
So when we're out in this space and the experience starts to happen, if you could bring yourself to a present state of awareness, one of the first things you're going to remember is, oh my gosh, I have a body sleeping on a bed somewhere. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that state, instead of freaking out because there's a little just say, get the hell off of me. I'm not interested in your nonsense tonight. And you begin to you want to go to Jupiter, right? So you think about Jupiter and the size and everything it means and where it may be located in the system and the big red thing in the middle, the red spot. And you hyper-focus on these qualities. Mm-hmm. And your mind will target your objective and you will be there. You can go to your friend's house. If you saw John Doe or Jill Doe cooking food, you can call them and tell them, I just saw you. And you can tell them the whole experience. Have you read any of the Robert Monroe stuff?
Yes, I love his book, Journeys Out of the Body. I love
Did you know he was if I'm not mistaken, he was the president of
the Monroe Institute? Oh.
No. He was the president of a huge back in those days, in the Rat Pack days, he was president of like NBC or some major deal.
Wow.
Yeah, he had one of those big lives and he was living that life until he walked down the street and felt those vibrations.
He's like, am I dying? What is happening? Like, he went to the doctor and everything. They're like, no, everything's fine. I don't know what's going on. It's so cool to have that book that he wrote of just all journal entries throughout his entire process, from thinking how he's, that he's dying, to conducting lots of experiments to seeing how far this state of consciousness can go. So it's really, really interesting. That was one of the first books I read on the subject, actually.
Do you know what scanning is?
Is it just like scanning your body? When you're going kind of to induce an out of body state, you concentrate on your physical senses, and then you can transfer that into the out of
It,
body
it's
state.
more it's more of when you get out there, and
Mhm.
sometimes these experiences come in and they fleet. They come in and you look
Yeah.
around and you get so excited. Oh my God! And then by being so
Mm.
hyper excited, it can immediately throw you out
Yep.
of it. So what you do is, okay, it's happening. So it's all a memory process. You may forget 10 times, but you got to keep reminding yourself, tonight I'm going to be lucid aware. I'm going to remind myself there's a body laying on the bed. Oh wow, check out my hands.
Yep.
Don't become so hyper excited like a puppy dog that's about to get bought in the window. Catch yourself and start scanning, looking around. Just
Oh
start
yeah.
looking. Don't focus on the glass. You see the glass, just take it all in. When you scan, it keeps you in the experience. Do you know what I mean by that? Yes.
Yeah, I actually call that stabilizing the experience. Same with the lucid dream. We have to engage in those senses in the state instead of focusing on our physical emotions and our physical senses, like the excitement or the fear or thinking about our body sleeping in bed. It really helps to ground you into the experience, to take in the sensory information that's presented to you into that experience. So yeah, totally know what you mean.
Is there one of your experiences that truly, other than the one you shared earlier, something that just really pulled you into this even more so, something delicious? I have tons, but I would like to hear one from you.
Yeah, it was actually one of my first experiences. It was when I was studying it for the longest time, and I was just trying to induce it, spending hours a day trying to induce it. And then I started targeting my REM sleep, my early hours of REM, which was after like about 4.5 hours of sleep. So I woke up, I stayed up for about like 5 minutes, and I just laid down, and I kind of went into this dream, and it didn't really make sense what was happening, but then it started to make sense. Like, I dreamt that my little sister was there and she was piling coats on top of me, and that's because the sleep paralysis was being induced and my diaphragm was naturally collapsing, but my mind was kind of making up a story to go along with that in the dream. I remember just waking up in vibrations, the craziest vibrations I've ever felt. My whole body felt like it was just, my energy body felt like it was completely separating from my physical body. I heard that, like, those rumbling, like train tracks kind of sounds in your ear. And I felt like an electric feeling on my third eye and like underneath my eyes, and it was such like a cosmic feeling. I told myself to just completely relax because I could tell that my body was starting to slip out, but I was creating resistance by holding on to it because it felt actually feels like your physical body. So that's the one thing you have to get past. And as soon as I made that energetic intention to let go, I just shot out of my body, like flew out of my body. And I remember there was like three people talking in my room, and it was like they were on a radio show or something. They were just talking back and forth, and I was asking them questions just about my life or what I could be doing to enhance what I'm doing, or literally just questions about life. And they started to answer them out loud if I would think about the question. And that was super interesting. And I didn't know who they were. I thought they were maybe my spirit guides or maybe just some random entity that was chilling out in my room or something. And I decided to try to go somewhere. So at first, I started to float up to the ceiling in my room, but my head started to like bob on the ceiling. And I knew that that was because my physical limitations are carried over, because usually we can't walk through walls, right? And so when we're going through this experience, we have to break down all these limitations or these barriers that we've made ourselves believe to be true. So after I did that, I started to float through the ceiling, kind of like halfway. It felt like I was going in peanut butter. It's like a very weird experience
And
to be
don't you
stuck in the middle of a
find, do
wall.
you find that you could feel every layer of what you're moving through? Like if
Everything,
you can feel the wood, you can feel the paint, you can feel every freaking thing,
everything.
right?
Everything. Yeah, the experience is completely heightened. Like, we're experiencing this with our mind, not our physical senses. So everything is just hyper vivid. Everything's, yeah, super immersive, and you can really feel every single thing of what you're doing. Even if you like touch someone or something specifically in the dream, you just feel all these like static vibrations. Like, everything is just so weird in that state. And I remember when I finally got through the ceiling, I asked to go somewhere higher above my dimension, higher than the third dimension. And I got to this place that kind of seemed like a waiting room, which is also what Robert Monroe talks about in his books, which I thought was interesting. And there's tons of people just sitting on the bench, like walking around, just hanging out. And people started to look at me like, oh my God, how did you get here? Who are you? How did you get here? And it made me feel like it was almost maybe some sort of waiting room where we might go after we cross over or something. And that's when I discovered that I can actually hang out with my dog who passed away, because my dog ran up to me and we just started hanging out. And my dog could actually communicate me through their thoughts. Like the thoughts were just being downloaded. That's how you speak through the out of body state most of the time, because we don't need words. We can just connect to each other telepathically. So that was like a really, really amazing experience that showed me like the true power of it. I remember I woke up and I was just like, whoa, oh my gosh. And I ran out of the room to tell my boyfriend what happened. Oh my God, I finally left my body, just because I was practicing it for so long. And that was such a real experience. And ever since then, I've been able to, it's very hard actually to travel to the moon, like for me anyways, because it feels like such a long flight and it's so cold and it feels like such a realistic experience. And so I've just been trying to see how far I can go. I know there's different like states of consciousness, and I've just been trying to see the most amazing, like eye-opening thing I can experience. But mostly it's just been connecting to things outside of myself. I've tried to meet my higher self and ask certain questions in my life, but mostly those come to me in my lucid dreams. I feel like the out of body state, they just want me to explore and kind of see what's being given to me, if that makes sense. But that experience was like the first one where I was like, oh my God, it's actually real.
I've been in that lobby that you're referring to. I
Yeah.
have a very clear memory of before I was born being in the spiritual waiting room in queue waiting to be born. The souls before me, they were the balls of light, just balls of light. These balls of light were everywhere. And
Yeah.
the souls waiting in line before me, they would go down. Listen, it was the level of excitement of all the souls anticipating their birth that was turning the machine itself. And so,
Wow.
yes, and these souls would go down to be born, but at least from my experience, it was Earth. It wasn't some other planet, it was Earth. And so the souls would go down, but you would see other souls come up. Some would join the back of the line, which was to the level of infinity, but you could see it, to
Yeah.
wait for a new birth because of reincarnation. And some were complete. You could see them go to the next level. I remember this very, very clearly.
Wow.
When we get back from commercial, Lavender Soul Break, I would like you to share with us some of the ways. Here we go, listening audience. Welcome everyone to Center of Light Radio. My guest tonight, Miss Haylee Lynn, and we're speaking about the art of lucid dreaming. It's something you have to want. You have to want it. And in that want, you will experience the playground of your soul. Everything that you are already. And so why can't I experience that now? You can. It's that want. It's the want to experience your true self. I would like to get into some of your techniques that you would like to offer the listening audience so they can become a little more like you in the field that you play in so well.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me.
Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Center of Light Radio. Wow, I'm so enjoying this conversation with Haylee Lynn. We're speaking about the art of lucid dreaming. Lavender Soul is coming out with a brand new album soon. Members of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, we are writing, we are writing, we are writing. I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. Some Lavender Soul. How about, wow, this is kind of lucid dreaming-ish. Angel of Love, about a gentleman, a young man having an experience of an angel, an angelic apparition in his bedroom. When he has his face in his hands and life is just kicking him in his spiritual pants. And he asks for something to show up, to give him some grace. And it shows up. Check it out.
Thank you. It's fun.
She turned to me and told me life was not too easy unless you can let go. I lay surprised at the simpleness of her soul. wasting away in a sea of uncertainty. She had stayed with me for days. I needed love in so many different ways. And as I watched, she floated through the room. And as I cried, she was there to dry them too. Hold me and don't let go. Hold me, never leave. Never leave. Angel of love, will you always be with me, so I can let go? Reveal to me the beauty of your soul. I turned away, her light was so blinding, the energy of her love. She said goodbye and turned into a dove. As I watched, she floated through the room. And as I cried, she was there to dry them too. Hold me and don't let go. Hold me, never leave. Hold me and don't let go. Hold me, never leave. Never leave. She turned to me, told me life was not too easy unless you can let go. Reveal to me the beauty of your soul.
Welcome back to Center of Light Radio. You take the blue pill, you wake up, you believe what you want to believe. Take the red pill, and I'll show you just how far the rabbit hole goes. I want to take this time for this wonderful segment of speaking with my guest, Miss Haylee Lynn, and we're talking about the art of lucid dreaming. A dear friend of mine, I've interviewed him quite a few times, with lucid dreaming product called Dream Leaf. It's all herbal. There's nothing There's no garbage in here. He's done his research for years. The first time I took this product, I had a visit with 3 deceased relatives and another one waiting in line. Phenomenal product. Phenomenal. But it doesn't require that. But some people may need it. It may be the boost and the kick they need. I enjoy it. If you got $25 a month, if you like playing in the arena of soul consciously, luciddream.com, luciddream.com, or excuse me, dreamleaf.com. Oh, heck, just contact me and I'll send you over to Connor Southworth. Welcome back to Center of Light Radio, Haylee.
Hey, thanks. What's up? I love Dreamleaf, by the way. Really good product.
Oh, so you know about it. I don't see you there. Let me switch over here, and there you are. Let me come back. And you disappeared on this screen.
Oh, no. I'm gone.
Let me see something real quick. You disappeared completely. There we are.
Okay, I was like, what happened?
We just had yeah, I was gonna say we had an out of body experience and we're not conscious of it yet.
It's fine.
Okay, here's some dreaming techniques. Tell me if you heard of them, and then just please continue on about what you would recommend for people to use or do to induce out of body. One is the water technique. Pour some water, charge it with your will, your intent. You drink the water before you go to bed. The rocking technique.
Yeah.
And then
That one's crazy.
finally throw yourself out.
It really
Yeah, right. And then you get on YouTube and download these binaural beats. There's all kind of ways. What is Haylee Lynn's way of saying, I want to go see more of my real self?
So there's 2 different things you can do. Are we talking like out of body experiences or lucid dreams?
Both. As you wish.
All right, perfect. Well, first, to help create the foundation of these experiences, what I would recommend to you is to start to write your dreams down. If you're someone who doesn't believe that you dream at all, well, just let you know, we all dream 5 to 6 times a night. It's a natural part of our biology. But in order to start having lucid dreaming experiences, for example, we have to practice remembering our regular dreams as well. And it's super easy. All you're going to do is grab a dream journal. And I know what some of you might be thinking, well, if I don't remember my dreams, how am I supposed to write my dreams down? That doesn't make any sense. And the cool thing is you actually don't need dreams to have a dream journal. Dream journaling is used as an exercise to create stronger dream memory. And if we work with our memory in general, this is automatically going to increase our dream memory. So all you need to do is super, super easy. As soon as you wake up, you're going to write down the date and the time in your journal, and if you remembered anything. This could be a dream, this could just be any thoughts, images, feelings, emotions that you remember experiencing during sleep. If you remember a little sliver of your dream from waking up at like 4 in the morning, write that down. Anything that you remember, because as long as we're writing down in our dreams every day, in our dream journal every day, our memory is going to increase. And if you don't remember anything at all, just write down, I didn't remember any dreams tonight, because that alone is enough to show your brain it's actually a priority to remember your dreams, and it's supposed to have something to write down in the morning. So the biggest takeaway from this is to see your dreams as a priority, and you will start to remember them. Start to intend to remember dreams. Start to expect to have dreams to write down in the morning, and you'll be very, very surprised at how fast this happens. Now, with dream journaling isn't just for writing your dreams down and building dream recall, even though it's great for that. You can also use it for something that's called dream signs. So signs that you're dreaming. Is there anything reoccurring in your dreams that seems to appear over and over? Your dream journal is going to tell you this. For example, my dream sign is that I'm back in high school. Probably 40% of my dreams take place in a high school, a grade school, some sort of schooling building. And since I'm not in high school and waking life, I know that the next time I experience that, it's a dream. So what you're going to want to do during waking life is anytime you encounter anything related to your dream sign, you want to check if you're dreaming. You can count your fingers and make sure you have 10 and look away and look back again, because if you get in the habit of doing that during the day, you're going to start to count your fingers in your dreams, and you're going to have like 20 fingers, 30 fingers. They're not even going to be your hands. So you want to create more awareness throughout the day, if that makes sense. So anytime you experience a dream sign or anything that reminds you of dreams, anytime you hear anything about lucid dreaming, anything at all, anything that reminds you of what you're experiencing in your dreams, you want to ask yourself if you're dreaming. Am I dreaming? How do I know that I'm awake right now? Because you'll notice pretty quickly after you create that habit, you're going to start asking yourself if you're dreaming in your dreams, and that will lead to lucid dreams. And that's the way to create spontaneous lucid dreams because you've built a habit of awareness and critical thinking, and that's going to carry over into our dreams. The way to be more lucid is to be more critical of our dreaming content, right? Because weird stuff happens in our dreams all the time. So be more aware and critical and look for your dream signs in waking life, and you'll start to do the same in your dreams. So that's the easiest way to start lucid dreaming. Now, let's talk about how to actually induce out-of-body experiences. You can actually induce lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences in a very similar way. The easiest way is to wake up in REM sleep, because that's when we experience sleep paralysis. We're already in the dreaming mind at that time, so it'll be easy to go into an experience. My favorite way is called the wild technique, or the wake-induced lucid dream, but it can also be used for the out-of-body experience as well. So you're going to wake up during your REM sleep. So after 4.5 to 6 hours of sleep is going to be your biggest chunks of REM sleep. So you want to wake up, and a good way to know if you're in REM sleep is you'll wake up directly from a dream. If you remember a dream that just barely happened, you're most likely in REM. You want to stay for about 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason why we do this is to create a sliver of awareness. That way when we lay back down, we don't fall immediately into sleep. We want to be able to keep a sliver of awareness as we go through these steps. Once you lay down, you're going to just take in 3 deep breaths and completely relax into your bed. You want to pay attention to every part of how your body feels. Is your body cool? Is it warm? Are there parts that are uncomfortable? What parts do feel comfortable? You want to really be able to feel your entire body and be able to completely relax. And eventually, you want to try to trick your body into thinking you're asleep, because as you relax, you're going to start to encounter what's called hypnagogic imagery, which means that your brain is starting to go into a deep sleep, not a deep sleep state, but a sleeping state or a dreaming state, and it's processing content and getting ready to put the body into sleep. And as soon as you start seeing these colors swirling around your eyes, you're going to encounter something called the rollover signal. And this is what the body does to check if you're awake. So if you ever are trying to meditate, or you just woke up from sleep and you're trying to go back to sleep and you feel the urge to itch, move, roll over, move in some way, your body's basically saying, hey, are you asleep or are you awake? And we don't want to respond to these signals and itch and roll over and move, because we're basically resetting the clock and basically telling the body, oh no, I'm still awake, don't do sleep paralysis. And this might be why some people experience insomnia too, is because they keep giving into the rollover signal and keep tossing and turning every time they get the urge to. But if we can create just a calmness and trick the body into thinking we're asleep by not responding to these signals, you're slowly going to start to feel the vibrations come on. And then if you want to use that to experience a lucid dream, you concentrate on the colors you're seeing, the hypnagogic imagery, and start to create a dream scene out of it. Start to engage with it as much as possible, and don't see your closed eyes like a black wall. You want to see it like a forest. You want to look into it and see depth behind your closed eyes, because
That is so powerful.
It's powerful.
I'm peering into a forest. There's full of potential. There's infinite life in a
Exactly.
forest. It's not just this wall of obstacle.
Exactly.
It's just full potential. It's a womb. That's great. Please continue,
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah, definitely see it as, yeah, a forest, because if you just see it as a black wall, your mind's going to respond to that and it's not going to really give you a lot to work with. But as soon as you start trying to create something with the colors, start to imagine what place you want to end up in. If you could have one lucid dream, what would it be? For me, I love the beach. So while I'm going through the hypnagogic state, I would imagine walking barefoot on the beach, feeling the sand between my toes, hearing the ocean, smelling that salty air, feeling the sun on my skin. I want to create it as visually as possible, because your brain cannot tell the difference between dreaming, imagination, or waking reality. And so you can trick your brain into thinking it's actually experiencing it, and you'll start to feel even more of your senses and completely be immersed in the dream. The colors you're seeing will turn into the actual lucid dream right before your eyes. But what if you want to use this experience to have an out-of-body experience? Well, you can still use it within the same state. As soon as you start feeling those vibrations and the hypnagogic imagery, you're going to create sensations as vivid as you can. I call it visualization and sensation. So I call this the target technique. So you're going to imagine your body somewhere else where it's not physically laying. So this could even just be like imagining where your head is, where your feet are. You can just imagine the bed switching. You can imagine being in the corner of your room, doing the dishes, walking outside. Whatever you do, you want to create it as visual as you can. And a lot of people kind of prep for this technique. So you might go into your kitchen and choose a couple objects that you're going to use. Maybe there's a bowl, maybe there's some decoration, and you want to study this object. You want to feel it, you want to look at it. That way you know exactly what it feels like and what it looks like. That way when you go into the sleep paralysis state and you're trying to do a technique, you can imagine that object or that place where you are as visually as possible. And you'll notice that once you start to do this and you really immerse yourself in the visualization, you'll start to actually feel the physical sensations of touching that object or being at that specific place. And that's exactly what you want to create. Just completely immerse yourself into the visual that you're experiencing. And then eventually I start to see through my closed eyes. That's when I know that I'm about to project, because I have a sleeping mask on. And as soon as my eyesight opens up and I can see my room around me, I know that I'm about to project. And from then, you literally just let go. You let go completely. You let go of all expectations, all worries, all fears, and completely give in to the experience, knowing that you're safe. And you realize it's a lot easier to get out of your body doing that once you completely let go, but you focus on your visualization and sensation. And this actually happened my second time trying it. So it's definitely good even if you've never experienced that state before. And once you learn how to lucid dream, you can actually astral project from a lucid dream directly. So they're kind of hand in hand when learning one.
And through these experiences, something that might motivate the listening audience to want to induce an OBE, coined by Robert Monroe. Thank you, Robert Harrison, for that info. An out of body experience, or have a lucid dreaming, and there's some gray area in there as well. One thing that might motivate a lot of people is you get to hang out with your dearly departed loved ones. I mean, they're all around you. They're not some gazillion light years away in some dimension. That's not where they exist. If God is the wholeness that is inherent in every fragment of light, every photon, every proton, every place, everywhere, then that means your loved ones are in your auric field. They're right here. You just can't see them. They're all around you. So you have to fall into the dimension of the spirit on which they vibrate. And it's very easy. So if that helps to motivate you to want to be into a sleeping lucid experience, if that doesn't, and when you do, when you start having these visits, you no longer feel that disconnect. In fact, you don't see your loved ones as deceased anymore. You don't. That whole thing just goes away because you feel that connection. You feel them around. You just don't feel anything just torn apart as if they're so far away. And you don't. In fact, you don't even miss them really anymore. You might miss them, but you don't miss them with this heart pang and this grief and oh my God, it just all just changes because one person I interviewed some years ago says the art of lucid dreaming is the way back to God. So you can begin to have glimpses of the grandiose, the majesty that you are, so we can begin the integration process of it all, so we can keep having higher and expanded, higher and more expanded experiences.
Totally. And the lucid state is something definitely to motivate you to experience, because I mean, we sleep for a third of our lives, which is roughly 30 years spent asleep. What are most of us doing in that 30 years? We don't remember anything. We don't have any thoughts. We don't have any feelings. We don't remember our dreams. But what if you could create whatever life you wanted through that 30 years that you spend asleep? It not only is out-of-body experience is amazing, but the lucid dream state, you can communicate with your subconscious face to face. You can meet your shadow self and ask to let go of anything that you're denying, suppressing, or disowning or doesn't serve you anymore. You can practice skills and actually wake up with improved skill because your brain is learning while you're in the lucid dream. You can use it for the law of attraction because, again, if you manifest $1,000 in the dream, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can count it, and your brain thinks it's actually happening. So it's going to take you out of the frequency of lack and put you in the frequency of having. You can heal yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. You can do so much through the lucid dream. And so it's a really amazing way to use 100% of your life, because now you have that 30% back that you were just using to sleep, and now you have access to 95% of your brain, which is the subconscious mind. So it's really making the most out of your life practicing this.
Would it be fair to say that the difference between lucid dreaming and out of body is, here's a person, this is out of body, that's lucid dreaming, because out of body is more of a mental construct. It doesn't mean it's only mind goop. I mean, it's real. But it's more of this exploratory desire, and lucid dreaming is more cosmic. It's more soul integrated, more divine, more higher information, more light waves versus just getting in your car and spontaneously driving on vacations.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to access as well. You can learn how to go out of body all the time, but it's a lot easier to control in the lucid dream. For the out of body experience, you have to focus on stabilizing, you have to use your thoughts and really will to go somewhere. And sometimes you just get stuck in a wall, like we talked about. But in the lucid dream, it's a lot easier to maneuver, it's a lot easier to manifest what you want to. And there's a lot of deep work. So, yeah, it is completely like this other realm, because usually when I go out of body, it's like I usually appear in my room or somewhere I can tell that it's like a familiar space, but in the lucid dream, where are you experiencing that? You can go anywhere, explore anything, talk to anybody just like that. It's really immersive, and if you're wanting to do a lot of deep psychological work, I definitely recommend doing that through lucid dreaming, because it's the most visual and immersive experience that you can have compared to an out-of-body state, which is still mind-blowing in itself, but the lucid dream state is where I do most of my work.
So here's a question for the listening audience, as well as you, Haylee, but I know your answer because you already did it. If you think that you can imagine holding this flashlight, right? Every night when I go to bed, I'm going to hold this flashlight. You do this for a couple of weeks, a month. Just simply hold it.
Yeah.
So one night until you go into your experience and you come to a state of consciousness and you got a flashlight in your hand. Very easily to do. People say, I get it. Habit makes me remember. And then next thing you know, my mind creates a flashlight. Can you reverse the process? There is no difference except the monkey in the mind that says manifesting is a lot harder. Well, there is no difference, because if you go into a dream or in your experience and you pluck a flower off of a bush, when you wake up in the morning, can you bring that flower back to where you wake up and there's the flower? You may say, well, Haylee did it. She went there into the healing waters and brought about something from that place to this place to heal her stomach. I done it. I went into the realm with Southeast Sai Baba. He tapped me on the knee. He was standing across the river. He said, Keith, come to India to see me. And I said, how will I do that? He says, don't worry about it. I got it. 3 months later, I'm in Sai Baba's ashram pinching myself because a dream I had realized itself. We heard dreams to realize. Well, this was literally, I had a dream one night and it realized itself. So I went as Haylee to that dimension and literally brought a physical manifestation back. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we could just be really proficient at such a thing? You know, we can go into the dream world, and you're doing that, and we're all doing that. Sometimes we're not conscious and we're not getting the things we want as fast as we would like them, and sometimes in our unconsciousness we're bringing back a lot of nonsense, and we wonder why our life is just turned upside down.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely use it to bring physical things back. I mean, maybe you want to bring back like a physical object from that state, and that might be a little bit harder to do. But as far as like the feelings you can bring back, the healing, the emotions, the experiences, the memories, the information, you can bring all of that back. You can meet even Einstein and meet up with him, have a conversation about him. And your brain is so intelligent that if you ask Einstein a very specific, even mathematical question in the dream, you will receive the answer because your consciousness already had that information all along. So the lucid dream gives us the ability to be our own therapist, to be our own friend, to be our own coach, to be our own mentor, to be our traveling buddy, to be everything. Because when we ask to be healed in the lucid dream, or we ask to get rid of our anxiety, or what our life calling is, or any of that information, we already had all that information all along. We're basically helping ourselves through the lucid dream. We're experiencing ourselves from a different point of view, and it's the easiest way to make friends with yourself as well.
Wow. I love playing in that garden. We're all cosmic beings. We're all cosmic beings. We're all cosmic beings. And when we begin to integrate that truth, then it becomes a reality. I love play. Have you ever messed around, played to hang out with any angelic forms?
I've manifested some in like the lucid dream state. Usually in the out of body state, I don't see them, but I can feel them and I can hear them. But in the lucid dream, I've manifested even hanging out with my spirit guides, and we went on the craziest adventures. We were flying all over the place. We went hiking. We even went bowling for some reason. We just did the craziest things. And I remember sitting under the stars and just talking to these angelic entities, and whoever, it was like a whole crowd of people, but all I felt was like this love radiating, and I couldn't really see them. They were just like auras almost. So I could tell that they were different from other people that I experienced, because usually in the lucid dream, when I see someone, it looks just like a regular person. But these people were literally beings of light. That's exactly what they looked like to me. And I remember sitting under the sky. I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was seriously so life-changing. I just got that energy when I woke up. And every single star in the entire sky was a different color. I was seeing nebulas and galaxies, and I really was like this sense of oneness. I was one with everything. And it's true, in the lucid dream, everything was created by you. Everything you're experiencing, every person you're hanging out with, everything that you're told in the lucid dream, all the information, every adventure you get to go on was all within yourself. And so that's kind of the experiences that I've been having with them, just either conversations or just asking what can I do to be a better benefit for all living beings? What can I do to not only change my life, but other beings' lives as well? Because I like to get into the dream yoga aspects of lucid dreaming and use it for spiritual practice, and kind of just bettering myself in any way that I can. It's the perfect playground for that. So
one night, I'm in here so far. I am in a very gothic looking castle place. Huge. And I'm walking through it almost like a church, actually. In fact, it was very church-like, but it was very high ceiling. It had that old world feel to it. And I'm walking down the aisle, whatever, and I'm looking down for whatever reasons. And all the metaphors, looking down, and the metaphors that I'm going to, it all just paints this other language. And as I'm walking down the aisle, looking down, I see two women's feet, nice shoes, nice ankles, wow, nice legs, nice torso, nice boobs. And as I begin to look at them, their face, it wasn't nice at all. They were very demonic, cat-like, not cat in a good way, just that. And I was like, and they wanted to have some fun. And I said, I don't think so. And they said, where are you going? I said, I'm going outside. And they said, well, the sunlight's going to burn you. And I said, that's exactly why I'm going outside. So I walked outside of this building. In the sun, I can feel it just, but it was a purification, a purifying fire. And I found myself laying in front of a 12-foot, 16-foot cross. And everything, Haylee, was black and white. It was black and white, implying the past, my past. And before my third eye, I see all these images of everything I've ever done since I was a child, maybe even other lifetimes, just flashing. And I understood every one. And I hear this murmuring in my ear, and it all went together and I understood it. And I did this sit-up crunch, and I yelled out the word love in one long drone. And I went through a wormhole. Long story short, I'm cradled in the arms of an angel. You can see the wingspan. Of course, my mind's painting all this, but it was an angel nonetheless. And we're flying into a city. And this city, all the buildings were on fire. But it was the purple divine fire. You could just see the divine energy illuminating this entire place. And I looked back to see who was carrying me. Basically, the angel goes, how you doing, Keith? And so I look ahead of me, and I see we're about to fly into this huge, huge tree. I mean, we're literally going to, what I thought was going to crash. And the angel looks at me and says, hold on, here we go. And we flew into the tree. As we got into the tree, or on the other side of it, or wherever it took us, because it was a portal, I found myself, Haylee, listen to this, in some place, some plane, where I had a penthouse apartment. It was the top floor of this building, which are buildings. Our buildings look like dwarfs compared to these buildings in this dimension. And I was in this room with this angel, and the angel is sitting on the sofa, very female, at least at this point. But I'm just so in awe that I can just play in this ceiling. I was having a great time just playing in the ceiling. And so the angel grabs my ankle, my foot, and pulls me down onto the sofa and says, Keith, sit right here with me. And the phone rings, and she goes, aren't you going to get that? I said, why? She goes, Keith, you live here. This is your place.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we live on all these different dimensions. You know, we're multifaceted beings. It's, we're so convinced that this one thing that we're looking at is real. It is real, mind you. But what is more real than the experience you're having on the outside is the feelings that is integral for our growth. So we're slowly but surely, let's see what time it is. We still got some time. Wonderful. So where would you like to lean into, darling? What would you like to offer all of us as someone? I would love to introduce you to Dr. Dream. Kelly
Oh,
Sullivan Walden. Do you know who she is?
no.
She's been on Dr. Oz. She has a big radio show. She has a show every Wednesday, I believe, called Dr. Dream, and you would just love her.
Wow.
Kelly Sullivan Walden. You can jump seat from my friends list to her.
Sweet.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. She would love to have you in the show, and she's phenomenal. Her thing is dream interpretation,
Ooh.
and she leaves the door open. She'll tell you what she interprets, but she always leaves an open-ended idea so that you can continue to go ahead and do your thing. You can find her to explore more on what you or a person would gather from it themselves. What would you like us to know more about the field, the arena, the garden of soul that you play in that would help us all to be more cognizant and begin to invite and have those experiences more regular, or whatever you want to share with us, dear?
Yeah, just know that everything that you're going through that you feel like you're stuck with, you can transform. I've had clients who have literally crippling anxiety, PTSD from being in the war, physical pain, like PTSD from even experiencing near death experiences, which I've also experienced, but it was more of like an awakening experience. Drug addiction, alcoholism, nicotine addiction, anything. If you're willing to let something go, you can definitely do that through the dream state. So, what I want you to try the next time you're in a lucid dream, I want you to call out to your subconscious. And usually, this is represented by the sky. So, all you need to do is just shout out to your subconscious whatever you want to find out. You can even just ask, "Can I speak to my subconscious?" Or you can just get right to your question. You can even ask something as little as, "Where did I leave my keys?" Because consciously, we might not know that, but subconsciously, we do. What is going on in your life that you want to let go of? What is something going on in your life that you want to understand more about? Whether it was a past memory, a trauma, some sort of stressful situation that you're trying to figure out. What if you could get advice on these things, or what if you could completely just rewire them and get rid of them completely? It's definitely possible through the lucid dream because you can reprogram your brain using what's called neuroplasticity. In the lucid dream, we have direct access to our subconscious mind, which means we can release things that don't serve us anymore, that have been implanted into our subconscious. This could be negative habits, thought patterns, addictions, belief systems, fears, phobias, anything that you think that you are ready to let go of, you can.
So
That's
what's
the
the
biggest thing to
procedure? Do
know.
you just go in there, or do you have an intention just before bed and say, "I'm going to go where exactly I need to go to pose this question so that I'm more readily able to receive an answer," kind of thing? Or do you have to call up a certain angel? Do you have to call up Haylee to come get you and yank you out your body? I mean, what is the
That's
actual procedure that one needs to go through to be able to be successful in self healing?
That's literally what you do. Like you can set an intention before bed, but as soon as you get out in your lucid dream and call out to the subconscious, it is going to change the dream and create a dream in which you get your answer. So it's as simple as that. Call out to the dream, how can I get rid of my anxiety? How can I do this? How can I do that? And it will literally present you with an answer to answer how you can get rid of something. And the thing is, you can use, since you're in a state of hypnosis in the dream state, you can also use certain suggestions. Like for me, I said, "Thank you for my healing. Thank you for my healing." For Charlie Morley, he cured his eyesight of I think it was nearsightedness. He couldn't even see without his glasses. And he went into the lucid dream, put his palms on his eyes, imagine healing white energy going from his palms into his eyes and saying, "My eyes are free of conflict. My eyes are free of conflict." And basically, you're using the power of visualization by inducing the healing using a white light. You can drink a magic potion, whatever you want to do. Your brain thinks it's actually happening. And if you expect for this magic potion or this healing to work, your body is going to think it actually worked because it thinks what you're experiencing is real, inducing the placebo effect. So you can ask a question to your subconscious, or you can state what you want. Like, "My eyes are free of conflict. My stomach is healed. My anxiety is gone. I feel happy and blissful. I get restful sleep." If you experience insomnia or anything, create an affirmation to use in the dream state. And you'll be so surprised at how fast this works. The thing is, you have to expect to receive that difference or that healing or that change, because that's what creates it. So that's literally all you need to do. And people think, "Oh, that's it? Like, that doesn't sound right." But seriously, it can be that easy. It's all up to your expectation and your intent if it's going to work or not.
I have in my past programmed suggest. See, with people, there are practices that are very solid and they work. But you're not pigeonholed to someone else's practice. You can create one. You get
Yeah.
out into these realms, and you want to experience. You want to pull something closer to you because it's in the distance. Create a bell and start banging on the bell. Create a crank and start turning it. Whatever it takes for you to make it happen.
Creativity.
I would tell myself before I go to bed, when my air conditioner or my dishwasher would engage late at night, our car would pass by on the street or hear a siren, that would trigger me to become conscious in the experience. And it works. It all works. Like Haylee said, when I tried to say, how difficult is it? She goes, no, it's really that easy. That's how you do it. You don't have to go find a certain angelic counselor that says, sit down and let me heal you. You just go to bed and you open up the gate and you intend. You're passionate about your intent and you're sincere about your intent. And you say, my gosh, I choose that. That's it. And then when you get there and you're looking at your hands, knowing you have a body in the bed, speak to the empty space of yourself. Speak to yourself, and everything begins to align up accordingly. Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is, we have to be ready to let something go. So, like, if you have anxiety, for example, maybe you can try calling out in the dream, I'm ready to let go of my anxiety. Because that's how, even when we access the Akashic Records and we get information about our life or past timelines, we have to be willing to see something. And if we want to let something go, we have to be willing to release it. Because a lot of the times we think that we're ready to let something go, but there's something subconsciously that is having us hold on to that situation or that person or that belief system or anxiety, whatever we're experiencing. But if you go into the dream, which is your subconscious mind, and you state, I am ready to experience this, or I am ready to let this go, it's going directly to your subconscious mind. It's like the easy way to get into a hypnosis because we don't have to quiet down the conscious mind, really use our visualization and go into the state. We're already in that meditative hypnosis state in the lucid dream. So all you have to do is state what you want and expect and intend it to happen and use your creativity because it can do anything. If you're having the flu or whatever you're experiencing that is causing you some distress, you can even just drink a magic potion in the dream and that will work for physical healing. Like, it's all up to you and you can create anything. Just use your creativity and expect it to happen. And then, yeah, it can really be that easy. And it's as easy as you think it is, honestly.
Elwood asked the question. He says, how long before you see results? Elwood, I will share with you what I think.
Yeah.
That very question is the question you don't want to ask. Because you are implying how long, the word is long, it will take for me to see results. It's simply, my friend, just the want to go in there and say, oh my God, I'm going to do this tonight. And just every night, be with yourself in that night and engage. Don't worry about the length of time, because worrying about the length of time may prolong your time. Would you agree, Haylee?
Yes, and I would not see it for like the outcome. I would see it for the process. A lot of people get frustrated because they're just remembering their dreams, but they're not lucid dreams. But if you can start to have a fascination and excitement, a childlike curiosity about your regular dreams, then you will start to experience more because subconsciously it knows what you want to experience. But we have to be able to enjoy every part of the process to be able to get that result. So I wouldn't concentrate so much on how long it will take, but just how much information can you get from your dreams? What is actually going on in my dreams that I can see in my dream journal? Be fascinated with even just your regular dreams, and you'll start to notice more lucid dreams as well. And it's all about how you set it up as well. It all takes consistency. If we're learning a new skill, which is being conscious in our dreams, we have to be consistent with it. So every single morning, even if you don't remember your dream, write in your dream journal. Just write that you didn't remember any dreams. Throughout the day, check if you're dreaming. Like, just ask yourself if you're dreaming and do a reality check. I have lots of videos on this as well, but basically a reality check is a physical way that you can check if you're dreaming. So in the dream, it has a very hard time at detailed pattern recognition, which means we won't really be able to see the fine lines on our hands in the dream. So if you get in the habit of checking your hands when you're awake and really analyzing if they look normal, you'll start to actually do that in your dream, and you'll see how your hands are blurry. They're not even your hands. You have 20 fingers. And so just be conscious of your hands, for example, throughout the day and create a habit of checking. I even have a bracelet that says, are you dreaming? So anytime I look down at the bracelet, I have to ask myself, am I dreaming? Is there anything weird I'm experiencing right now? And the goal is to be more critical of your surroundings in waking life. That way you carry it over into the dream, because the reason we're not lucid is because we believe we're awake, right? because we believe we're awake in the waking state. We don't question our reality. We don't question if this is an illusion or not. And so that habit carries over into the dream. So the biggest thing to carry over into your dreams is when you're awake, don't see what you're experiencing as solid. Always know that there is a possibility that you could be dreaming. And as soon as you start to implement that tiny little thought that there's always a possibility that what you're experiencing could be a dream, you'll start to carry that over. And anytime anything weird happens in your dream, you'll ask yourself, wait, could this be a dream? So it's all about bringing more awareness to your dreams. Show your brain it's important to remember your dreams. Show your brain it's a priority to lucid dream, and set yourself up by success by being consistent and really making dreams a dominant thought in your life. Because if we start thinking about dreams more, then we're going to start thinking about them in our dreams, which we can easily turn into lucid dreams.
Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Haylee, we're at the bottom of the show. Thank you very much. It is frozen on your pretty little face. No better way to end the show. All good. So would you like to give us a final thought? As everyone, I've been posting links to Haylee in the forum. Please feel free to go stomp all over her page. Give her some of your love. Would you like to leave us with a final thought, dear?
Yeah, just know that you are infinite. You are an infinite being with infinite possibilities, and you hold infinite answers to your life. Everything that you could ever need or want is already within you. And this is just a way to unlock it. See it as just a playground to explore your own subconscious. And if you're ever interested in taking this step a little bit further, I do offer one-on-one guidance coaching sessions. And I also did just finish a 40-part lucid dreaming video course as well, where it doesn't just teach you how to lucid dream, but I teach you how to lucid dream and use it for healing and transformation. So how to talk to our subconscious, how to rewire our brain, how to practice skills, all of these amazing things. And so if you're looking to dive a little bit deeper into your life and really become best friends with yourself, definitely start this practice in some way, and it will really show you how infinite you actually are.
Haylee, do you have